What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Carrera Slot car review. Today we're going to look at an iconic car in the world of racing, one of the winged warriors as they were known. We're talking about none other than the Charger Daytona right here. A car that sparks a lot of love-hate. Some people love its body style, some people hate its body style. But what we know is that it changed the world of auto racing, especially in the NASCAR series in the 1969 to the 1971 era. So let's take a look at this car. Let's break it down. I'll tell you everything I know about it, and let's get to it. So this car is an iconic car in that it changed the world of racing. It was also the first car to hit over 200 miles per hour. So back in 1969, 200 miles per hour over. I believe the fastest this car clocked on the salt flats is 219 miles per hour, which is unbelievable considering what's inside this and considering the safety features or lack thereof of this car. So as an aerodynamic car, it is amazing. So we're going to go through this car. This is a digital slot car. It is from Carrera. We'll start from the front like we normally do. And you can tell the difference between Plymouth Superbird and Charger Daytona right away if you wanted to know the difference by just looking at the front grille. So the Charger Daytonas have the little front grille here, this little air dam or whatever, right on the leading edge. Plymouth Superbird will actually have it on the underside of that leading edge nose cone. So that's the first difference. That's the first way to notice whether this is a Charger Daytona or Plymouth Superbird. All right, so we sweep across this long nose cone, and you can see how long it is. That is the end of the regular Charger, and this is the nose cone, so it comes off quite a bit. As we sweep up, so you get the aerodynamics, you go up, you get these kind of divoted hood. You get the 426 logo right on it, 426 cubic inch. We get into the windshield. So this is really cool because this is the first time you see two wipers. On the GT3 cars that I've reviewed, most of them just have one wiper all the way through. You get to see a very clear picture of the driver right in there. And this driver is none other than Dave Marcis. So Dave Marcis is an icon in the motorsport world, especially in the 1970s. He was an independent owner driver for the Dodge Daytona, so it wasn't a factory vehicle. This was his own vehicle that he drove. Yeah, so this is his own vehicle that he was an owner driver, one of the very few owner drivers that owned his own Dodge. It wasn't a factory produced vehicle. He also has, he was also one of the drivers that had the most starts in NASCAR for a very long time. So 833 starts in the NASCAR. He drove the Daytona 500 many times, and his last time was in 2002. So he raced for a very, very, very long time. So that's Dave Marcis. That's the driver that's in this vehicle, or portrayed in this vehicle. And yeah, let's move on. So we're looking at the front hood, and you get these little two scoops here. Now, there's a second difference now that you'll see between a Plymouth Roadrunner or Plymouth Superbird and the Dodge Daytona. In the Plymouth Superbird, these are just faults. They're just two. What Dodge said was this was actually because they had to push the wheels into the front fender, and they needed more space, so they created these two little bumps, I guess, or little pockets. But in the Dodge Daytona, the pocket inside here was actually cut open. So what it did was it invariably released pressure. Air pressure built up from the inside here, and it allowed it to escape. It's not the same on the Plymouth Superbird. That's not a functional scoop there. We get this nice little, little like indents in the hood. Nice little indents in the hood there as well. As we sweep up, we get the windscreen. We got this huge matte black roof here with the number 30 on it, which is kind of cool. And then you get this flat windscreen. So this was a typical aerodynamics here was you had this nose cone, the wind came up, and then kind of dropped down behind here with this really flat, very unobscured. There's no inset windshield or the rear windscreen. It was just flat, so the air would flow through there. And we come down to the rear wing. So this is obviously what gives this car its iconic name. The Winged Warrior is the rear wing. And if you notice, the rear wing is really high. So according to the aerospace engineers, you had to go high in order to get clean air. As this was dirty air coming off the car, they wanted the wing to be high enough so that clean air would actually force the car down. Because with the wind traveling over the front really hard, the car would dip down, and it needed a rear wing to balance back to the car, and they needed high up, so it came from clean air. So that's the reason for the wing, and then another thing you'll notice is that the wing is very close to the rear edge on the Dodge Daytona. As you look at the side, you'll see that this is a NASCAR, and at that time, there's a lot of sponsors, as you can see here with all the sponsor logos. I do have close-up shots. I'll put them up. You get the door with the indents in it as well. You get the huge 30 on the side, which is Dave Marquez's number. You get these, I guess they're air intakes here, bringing air into the cockpit, I presume. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what those are for. Maybe somebody knows and they can put it down in the comments. Over here we get this side exhaust, very prominent, very big exhaust. And we get Winter Park Dodge, which is probably Dave Marquez's Dodge dealership or shop. We get a fuel cap in the back here, and then we get the Daytona. We get these inset black Mac wheels, the steel wheels, I guess, with insets, so they got deep dish in them. And then you get the Potenza tires, Bridgestone Potenzas here. So, that wraps up the driver's side. Switching over to the passenger side. Once again, it's kind of a mirror finish. We forgot the rear, so let's go to the rear. So the rear is pretty cool. Just see if I can focus here. So we get, very simple. The rear taillights were inset. They put a plug in there so that the wind would not get trapped. It would just flow away from the car. So this car is really aerodynamic in the way it's built. You have the two number 30s, and then you get the chrome bumper. This, I think, was a really cool touch that was left behind as a chrome bumper there. And then we move over to the passenger side. So the passenger side here, you get to see exactly what the driver's side looks like. The only difference is on the interior, you get to see the fire extinguisher right in there. These are all open windows, so I can put my little pointer through. But as you can see, there's a huge rake to this vehicle. If you look at how low the front end is to the rear end, there's a rake, so this vehicle was meant to cut through air. Let's put it on the track and see if I lift it up. So you can see there's good mag force here. When we look at the vehicle, you can see that there's a huge rake when you go, that angle that this car sits at. It's meant to cut through the air. It's meant to be very aerodynamic. And it does it, and let's see what it does as a slot car version. So let's put it on the track, and we'll be right back with those results. Before I put it on the track, I wanted to go through and look at the chassis here. This is, like I said, this is a very long car. There's 4 screws here that will remove the chassis, so let's get to that. As you can see, when we remove the chassis, the body comes off. Once again, this is a flooded cockpit, so the driver is cut right underneath his arms right there. The body itself, pretty typical Carrera body, very long. Like I said, very long, very narrow. So this car really was built to cut through the air like a missile, because obviously these were, the aerospace guys that did this were people that built missiles for Chrysler, and Chrysler was shutting down their missile division, and they had to move over to automotive in order to keep their job. So a lot of styling comes from that. Can see that this is the slot, and if you notice, there's a lot of play in the slot here. So kind of cool, kind of interesting. It's very a little bit different here. Um, a typical Carrera digital chip in there. So a simple Carrera digital chip. And then we sweep back into an inline motor. And then the gear, the pinion and the crown gear in the back. And pretty simple, straightforward chassis, nothing special. The magnet is right here. It's once again, it's right underneath the motor pod here, so you'd have to pull off the motor pod to get to the magnet there. But the amazing part is the rake. That once again, you can see how deep the body comes down on this vehicle. So this vehicle is really, really angled down, and I think it's going to do really well on the track. So like I said, without further ado, let's put this together. Let's put it on the track and see what it does. All right, guys, welcome back. So Charger Daytona, amazing car. Put down some crazy lap times today. I was pretty impressed with it. What did it do? Let's have a look at that. So the Charger Daytona, as we look at the leaderboard here, it's sitting in the seventh position. That means it beat out so many of the newer GT3 cars. It beat out the C8R on the track, and I was pleasantly surprised with this car. I did not expect it to, perform that well, and it actually amazed me. And now I do want one of these in my collection, like really bad. Maybe I'll pick up the Plymouth Superbird. It's not the same as the Charger Daytona, but it's got me thinking. These cars are pretty fast, pretty unique, pretty narrow. Maybe it'll make it for good racing. Maybe we'll run a series at the club with it. But, pretty impressive. Now, like I do with all my cars, there is a full write-up on this car. I did some intensive research on this car because it does interest me. I am a Mopar guy. Some of the shots that we have here are pretty amazing. The car itself is, like I said, it's such an icon. So if you're a collector and you like slot cars, you gotta pick one of these up. You may be in the, there's two modes of thought with this vehicle. people either love it or they hate it from a body styling perspective. But no one can deny what it did for the world of racing, especially in NASCAR. Nobody can deny that NASCAR had to change the rules because of this car. Nobody can deny that this car was one of the fastest cars ever produced. And in fact, till today, I mean, the Charger Hellcat is the faster of between the Charger and the Challenger. The Hellcat, before the new additions. But when it came out in 2015, it hit 204 miles per hour. This Charger Daytona in 1969 was able to do 219 miles per hour. It's insane, considering, probably the Chargers that we have today are much heavier and there's a lot more safety features. But the people driving these, the guys that are driving these at 200 miles per hour, insane, and it's unbelievable to think that this car was out there doing that. So as a collector, if you can get your hands on one of these, whether it's the Plymouth Superbird or the Charger Daytona, I would definitely pick one up. I am going to be looking for one myself and see what I get. But it's a great car. It has huge history. It's an icon in motorsports. Definitely need one in my collection. Definitely going to get one in my collection. And welcome to the Charger Daytona. What are your thoughts on the vehicle, guys? Let me know. What do you guys think about its lap times? I think I was pleasantly surprised. Would you like to see a racing series with these? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, if you like this kind of content, once again, remember we produce a video every week. Please like, share, subscribe. It goes a long way with keeping us motivated to produce more videos. And until next time, guys, take care, have fun, and have fun on rails. Okay, guys? Take care. Bye.